quickly reviewing the 5 elements. Breath, connecting to your breath. Connecting to emotion, just scanning what is my emotional state in this moment. Make a note of it and see how it may shift during the practice. How does my body feel this morning or whenever you may be listening to this Kriya online? Do I have any constriction, any restrictions anywhere that I might breathe into those spaces? Give it some extra conscious attention. Any sounds that are in your space, just make them part of your practice. And finally, the acronym BEST, B-E-S-S-T, last one, thoughts. The ever-present thoughts. So you have 70 minutes to observe your thoughts. And if there's a particular thought that doesn't serve you, know that you have the ability in any moment to change it to a new thought. So let's bring the hands to prayer position, Anjali Mudra. 3 big inhale, exhales. All through the nose. Now the Adi mantra. Om Namo Gurudev Namo. Om Namo Gurudev Namo. Om Namo Gurudev Namo. Open the eyes. Let's come on to all fours. Welcome, Roberta. So the hands are underneath the shoulders. Since there's a lot of forearm stretching, we're going to open up with this wrist flexibility. So your knees are under your hips. Your hands are spread wide right under your shoulders. So think about this in yoga. It's about the only place I don't know of a sport where you would put your hand flat on a mat like this and then put body weight on it, especially when you go into down dog. So the wrist has to be at 90 degrees. That's really quite an extension for us. So just try to rock forward and see how that feels on your wrists. Rock back, rock forward, feel your forearms. If that creates any pain, any discomfort, you can always make the hands wider on the mat. If they're wider, it's less tension, less stress. So maybe experiment with that. Have the hands right under the hips, rocking back and forth, and then taking the hands maybe even almost off the mat. See how it makes it a little bit easier. You're just being conscious of when you go into a down dog, it's really quite a difficult pose because we're not usually asked ever to have our hands on a mat and support it with weight. Now turn your hands in so the fingers face each other. You feel that even more, right? So now try to rock a little left, rock a little right. The elbows bend some. You can also try taking the hands farther apart. How does that feel? Some difference. You have to stretch out the forearms. The wrists are at 90 degrees, maximum dorsiflexion, where the two joints come closer together. For this wrist flexibility, there are 5 positions. So now position number 3, turn the hands out. You feel that in the forearms, don't you? You feel it in the wrists. Maybe take the hands a little bit wider on the mat. Really feeling it in the forearms, feeling it right in the wrist. If it's too much space, too much stress, widen the space and it'll be easier. Now turn the hands so the fingers face you. Oh boy. Oh boy. So my fingers are pointing at my knees. Oh, wow. Full stretch of the forearm, right? And you really sense that 90-degree angle of the wrist. Now that's a lot of pressure putting on the wrist. The wrist is built for mobility, not necessarily stability, but we're treating it as a stable platform now. Now, the last one, the fifth one in this wrist flexibility exercise. Now we keep the fingers pointing in, but I turn them onto my palms. Oh boy. Ay, 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 ay. So that doesn't feel so good for me. So that means it's probably something I should do a little more of. The knees are pointed, my fingers are pointed towards my knees. Can I sit back? Puts more stress. Try the hands a little bit wider. Oh boy. So let's review the 5 positions again. So spread the fingers wide in your normal cat-cow position. Just rock forward, rock back. Maybe take the hands a little wider. You'll realize that makes it easier. If you take the hands to the side of the mat, that's position 1. Position 2, my hands turn in, my fingers are facing each other. Then I can turn a little left, rock a little right. It's a wonderful place to feel the elbows, feel the wrists. Position 3, I turn the hands out, wide spread fingers, trying to use the whole hand. If it's too much, widen the space. Still rocking a bit. Position 4, I turn the hands so the fingers face my knees. Oh boy. Really stretches the forearms, which we're doing in this Kriya. So this is a great warm up. Ground into your thumb and that thumb pad. Last position, I turn my fingers still forward, but I come on to the backs. Oh boy. You realize how little we ever put our body, our wrists in this position. Shouldn't be any pain, maybe just some discomfort. If there is any pain, immediately come off. And now let's sit back on our heels and shake these out. It's almost like we're turning light bulbs. So keep them down low. So you're changing a light bulb, you're turning them really fast. Then we call this the queen wave. So you're going back and forth, and then hallelujah wave, hallelujah, hallelujah, back to queen wave, and screwing the light bulbs. Now just shake everything. You're really getting those wrists going. Okay, now we're going to do some nerve flossing. I love this. Harvey Deutsch, this is his exercise that we're learning in our anatomy course. So as you know, nerves don't stretch. Nerves get embedded in tissue and fascia, and they can sometimes get, well, Mimi could explain it better. The nerves get tangled up, I guess, in various kinds of tissues. So this is, we're going to do a little bit of a stretch where this is going to access the radial nerve coming down in the arm. So take your left arm out, dorsiflex. So I take it I'm pushing against a cinder block wall here. So I'm just pushing. Now I'm going to look away to the right. As I look away, you may start to feel some tension coming down the neck into the shoulder. Now, maybe you can take the arm back a bit, then back to center. If you push that arm back, it is like a flossing because the nerve can't move, but everything around it is moving. You can also try just taking the ear towards the shoulder and then moving. I don't particularly like that one. It doesn't feel as good to me with the ear coming down. I like it better when I turn my head to the right, but try both ways, turning and taking the cheek to the shoulder. You're going to get a stretch either way. Now take the hand flat again. Now for the median nerve, palm up and then dorsiflex down. Ooh, wow. Pull the thumb away and look away again, or take the cheek to the shoulder. I still prefer turning my cheek, turning my head, looking to the right. My right hand are tented on the mat, so I'm feeling a connection to the earth. And take this hand in, shake it out. Let's work the other side. So the radial nerve on the other side, right arm out, dorsiflex the palm back towards the face. Stretching that forearm again. Now I'm looking away to the left, or I could take my cheek towards my shoulder and then try to bend, take the arm back. That right arm just comes back. If you feel a tingling or anything, it will go away when you come out of this position. Just play with it. Flossing the nerves. Coming back to center, now working on the median nerve. The palm goes up, and then I flex that palm down. So you're stretching the forearm. Now take that thumb back a ways if you can, still looking to the left. I like to keep inhaling left, exhaling as I come back, really trying to stretch all that tissue, fascia. None of this is under volitional control, only the muscles. So none of that's going to move unless you move it. And coming back to center. Got a couple more minutes before we can start the Kriya. So let's put our hands down into what we were practicing here. Since down dog puts a lot of pressure on the hands, let's push back to a downward facing dog. And now be a little more conscious what's happening with your wrists when you come into this position. It's such a common position in yoga, but it really is not the easiest asana. Stretch out the legs. What's easier is take the knees to the mat, come down onto your forearms. I'm bringing the quads down to the forearms. Now I'm going to curl my toes under, and I'm going to come up into a plank pose. So I'm on forearms. This seems a lot healthier to me than downward facing dog. And then try to draw the heels towards the mat. You can always keep your knees down. You don't have to lift the knees. But if the knees are lifted, try to take the heels towards the mat, and that'll bring your butt into alignment with your lower lumbar spine and thoracic spine. Long, deep breathing here, so you're heating up. Bring the knees to the mat, pelvis to the mat. Extend the feet out so the tops of the feet are on the mat. You're in a nice Sphinx pose. Forearms are on the mat. Gaze is straight forward. Maybe you can take the right, try to look over the right shoulder. Coming back, inhale. Exhale, try to look over the left shoulder. Really great for the cervical spine. Only go as much as you can. Inhale, exhale, right. Coming back to center. Inhale, exhale, left. Let's take the forehead to the mat. Arms at our side, palms up. Take the left cheek down. Let it sit for a moment, stretching out the cervical spine. Coming to center, letting the right cheek go to the mat, twisting out the opposite side of the cervical spine. Draw the hands back under the shoulders. Come into a wide-legged child's pose. So I'm drawing my palms far forward on the mat, trying to get them as far forward as I can, bringing my forehead to the mat. I'm in a wide-legged child's pose. It can be short. You can have the legs together too if for any reason it doesn't feel good and wide-legged. Try to have the hands on the mat and just keep inching them forward. You're stretching that maximum extension out of the shoulder blades, out of the shoulder sockets, I mean. Maybe you can inch your fingers to the left. You'll open up the intercostals on the right, between the ribs. Try to get the hands as far over as you can while the forehead is still down on the mat. Really stretching out those right ribs. Coming back to center. Taking the hands, really stretching, inching them forward on the right, pulling out those left intercostals. Really breathing into it, coming back to center. One last, trying to get the fingertips maybe all the way to the top of your mat. You're really extending out. And then draw them back. And let's come into an easy pose to begin the Kriya. This Kriya is not particularly difficult other than there's a lot of forearm stretch and a lot of shoulder stretching. So that can start to feel a bit tedious. And we're really working with our breath because the breath is what grounds us and prepares us for the deep meditation. We begin with a whistle breath. So I'm just whistling through my mouth on the inhale, exhaling through my mouth. So obviously no nose breathing. The mudra, hands are together, or if it's hard for you just to have them in prayer pose, you can interlace them. Sometimes I have something to grip to if they're interlaced, but it's called to be in prayer at the side of my ears. So I'm really stretching my spine. And I'm grounding into my mat with my pelvis. So I'm rooting with my pelvis and I'm rising with the upper half of my body. And we begin to whistle. And you can add on by trying to lean back. That part makes it harder while you're listening, while you're whistling, but you can go for that as well. That's the maximum pose. You may have to moisten your lips time to time. Last minute. Big inhale. Hold the breath, squeeze the bandhas, root. Mula bandha, Uddiyana bandha, pull the navel towards the spine, still holding the air. Unless you're on moon cycle, menstrual cycle, then just long, deep breathing. And release. Take the arms down, just sit and observe. The whistle breath forces you to use more control of your diaphragm. It's happening more at an unconscious level, but there's a lot of diaphragm work going on. Okay, interlace the fingers in a Venus mudra, thumbs touch. Then we invert, we push the palms out. So now the forearm stretches are going to begin. This is fairly simple. It's inhale out, stretching, extending the arms. I hold them here for just a brief hold while I hold my breath, then my exhale on the way back to my chest. So inhale, hold, exhale. Inhale, hold, exhale. 3 minutes on your own. Close your eyes. Move from the inside out. You're really stretching your forearms. They're already pretty warmed up from all those warm-up exercises we did. Try to stretch them to the max. All the swiping, texting, typing, not so much driving these days, but all our devices really stress the carpal tunnel. Inhale out, a brief hold, then exhale back to the heart. 1 minute down, 2 more to go. Full inhales, full exhales. Such a nice stretch in the wrist. Harvey Deutsch is a yoga therapist, and he talks about seeing patients where there's hardly any muscle left in the hand because we don't use our hands unless you do gardening or maybe you're an artist that's using your hands a lot. We use our hands to type and to text. We don't even write as much as we used to. So developing this strength muscles back in the hands and wrists, it's so good for us. 45 more seconds. Full inhales, full exhales. Inhale out, exhale back. Inhale out. Hold the breath, squeeze the bandhas. Right at sex organs, anus, pull navel towards spine, pushing out, suspending the breath. We're going for these 20-second holds. And release. Let the hands just rest on the thighs. Observe. How do you feel 30 minutes into the practice? Has emotional state shifted? Mental state? How do you feel in your body? Okay, more arm pumps. Still the inverted palm. So I invert, inhale out, holding the breath, taking over a nice big stretch, still holding the breath, coming down, then my exhale back to heart. Let's begin. Inhale, hold, stretching, hold, exhale. Inhale, hold, stretch. Keep stretching, pushing it out, stretching the forearms. Exhale, inhale, hold. Doesn't that feel good? Stretching the spine tall, and exhale, inhale. Exhale, inhale. Big inhales, nice holds, nice stretch. Back out, still stretching. Exhale. Exhale. Inhale. Hold. Exhale. Inhale. Exhale. Inhale. Hold. Stretching. Exhale. Do these on your own now. We're halfway there. Close your eyes and do your practice from the inside out. What's happening inside your body? How does it really feel to be in your body? Last minute. Big inhale. We're going to hold the air 20 seconds. Exhale. Sit and observe. A lot of deep breathing, calm the heart. You're accessing your parasympathetic nervous system, the part of your nervous system that turns on the anti-inflammatory markers. You're calm, safe, secure. No threat. The tension pull. Hands come out wide, like I'm grabbing this big ball, this big beach ball maybe. Then I make fists. I make a big face. I squeeze everything and pull it to my chest. Eric's way into this, I can tell. Big inhale out. Make the fist, squeezing every muscle. Pound your chest with a big exhale as you come in. Who needs expensive weight equipment? You can just do it yourself. Inhale. And use the muscles in your face. You don't need any Botox. Inhale. Inhale. One more. Big inhale. Squeezing buttocks, legs, pulling navel towards spine, chest, face, muscles engaged. Oh, wow. More inversion. Palm push-ups. So I'm inverting, going behind the head. So my thumbs are touching. It's a little awkward because you got to have quite a bit of flexibility here. My thumbs are kind of right at my occiput, the two occiputs right at the base of the skull where you can rest your thumbs. So that's the lowest point. Inhale, I'm just stretching more forearms, stretch up, exhale down. Inhale up, we'll do these 2 minutes. Strong, smooth breaths. Inhaling as you stretch up. Exhaling as you come down. If the head has to come forward, that's okay. That's a healthy flexion in the neck. Really stretching the forearms here. Big inhales, big exhales. Make your breath work a big part of your practice. It also helps quiet the mind for the upcoming meditation. 15 more seconds. Inhale up. Stretch, squeeze the bandhas. Pull the navel towards the spine in this nice stretch here. And release. Take the arms down, just sit, relax, observe. You have a sense of calming, that the parasympathetic nervous system's engaged. Torso twists now. More forearm stretch. We're coming back to this palms touching, or you can interlace the fingers if it gives you more control. We're just inhaling left, exhaling right. Really good place to observe the lower lumbar spine that only likes to move about 5 degrees. The real twisting is coming from the thoracic spine. I'm inhaling left, exhaling right through the nose, of course. Can you get a sense of the lumbar and thoracic spine? The real twist is happening from about T12 on. L1 through 5 are stretching fairly stable. They're primarily turning to their maximum. I do this, I brought it up yesterday when the old days when we throw a bag up over our seat to stow our baggage in the aircraft. There's a lot of this twisting going on when we throw the bag up. The more you're conscious of your lower lumbar spine, you'll throw that bag up a little differently. Inhale. One last stretch up as tall as you can and hold. And release. If the legs are getting tired, you can change out you can switch to other sides, or you could go to Vajrasana, rock pose, thunderbolt. If your legs are getting numb or tired. This is called a flat palm push. So finally, we don't have to invert the palms, they're down. We're just going from 4th chakra to 6th chakra. So it's inhale up, exhale down. Try to keep the elbows perpendicular straight to the mat. Set the timer here. Root down into your mat. So your pelvis is rooting, your spine is lifting. Good job, everyone. Just heart to brow. Elbows are straight. Inhale through the nose up, exhale through the nose down. Very steady, regular breath. you close your eyes, can you feel that subtle body around you? You're moving this energy right in front of the heart. And third eye, the pranic field, that eighth energy field around the body. Eighth chakra, it's called. Thirty more seconds. We're going to go for a 30-second hold. So big inhale. Bring the palms up in front of the sixth chakra at the third eye, right between at the brow point. We're holding 30 seconds. And release. Whew. The brain really talks to you, doesn't it? That it wants to breathe. As that carbon dioxide builds in the body. Just observe. Last 3 exercises in the Kriya. Still a lot of focus with your breath. These are spinal twists. We've done these often. Fingers hang over the clavicles, the collarbones here. My thumb is kind of over my shoulder. My elbows are perpendicular to the mat. Inhaling left, exhaling right. 2 minutes. Some more spinal twisting. 3 poses back. It was just palms overhead. I think there's a little more movement in this twist, maybe. There has to be some nerve flossing going on somewhere. Isn't that a great concept? Who would have thought that I could do something that might affect my nerves? We know when a nerve is pinched or compressed, it's some of the most painful pain we can endure. Thirty more seconds. Stay with it. Inhaling left, exhaling right. Moving synovial fluid through your hips, spinal column. Everything's lubricating. Inhale back to center. Take the arms out, palms up. Close the eyes. I love this sense of my width is the same distance as my height. Feel this wingspan. Feel your energy field, how much space you take in the room. Float it down. Grab your knees, hold on to your knees. We're going to do 2 minutes of shoulder shrugs. They don't have to be a high It's not a super high thing. I don't want you super tensed because in the end, it's fairly relaxing. Inhale up, exhale down. On these, I like to open my mouth on the exhale. It just feels more dramatic. You're breathing out toxins your body no longer needs. You can use it for an emotional release too. You're exhaling any emotions that don't serve you. Thirty more seconds. Really breathe deeply. Inhale up, just a slight lift of the shoulders. Pull the navel towards the spine. So you're feeling the bandhas engaged. Dip the chin a bit. Holding the breath, suspending the breath. And release. Last posture. Come forward onto your knees, or you can stay in easy pose. We're just flexing, spinal flex here. It's a great place to feel your cat-cows. So I'm grabbing my knees. I'm bringing my belly forward, taking my chin up. That's my cat pose, my cow pose, sorry. Exhale, I'm rounding the spine back, chin to that jugular notch between the clavicles. That's my cat. Inhale forward. You're really working the spine, the natural curves of the spine. There's the kyphosis in cat, maximized. Coming forward, you've got the lordosis, the inner convex, concave curve. Exhaling, chin to forehead to sternum. Inhale, the cervical spine is in its lordosis. Big inhales, big exhales. You're working your spinal health. It's so important. Inhale, come forward, chin is up. Hold the breath. Then exhale, push back into your cat. Fully exhale, short breath hold. And come back into easy pose now for your meditation. You can sit in any way that's comfortable. So easy pose, you could sit in Janu Sirsasana with the heel into the groin. I like to flex the foot in that pose. Or you could sit in rock pose, whatever's easy. And be sure to move your legs when you're meditating to be comfortable. I'll ring the bell every 5 minutes. I'll also review some of these inflammatory markers of what we read earlier this week from Dr. David Hanscom. So sit up tall, very erect spine, tall spine, lift the heart, helps pull the back of the head in a nice position over the lumbar spine. And we begin. Keep bringing the mind to the breath. When the mind begins to wander, just bring it back to the breath. I'm inhaling. I'm exhaling. Strive to make the exhale breath be the same amount of time as the inhale. So if it's a 4-second inhale, a 4-second exhale. When you have that mastered, you might go to a 4-second inhale, a 6-second exhale. Some notes from David Hanscom, Dr. David Hanscom. Anxiety is a response to a threat, not the cause. Here are some ways to reduce unhealthy anxiety. How to manage your stress levels and create optimum immunity. Get enough sleep, rest. Make sure your gas tank is full. Vitamins supporting the immune system. In your diet, B, C, D, and K plus zinc. Consume healthy foods that are anti-inflammatory in nature and limit inflammatory foods. The ones you might imagine: sugar, trans fat, refined carbohydrates, processed meats, and excessive alcohol. Practice breath work. Practice mindfulness, meditation. Resist activities that upset you, that fire the threat response, firing the cytokines in your immune system. That trigger a threat. Do your forgiveness work. Remember to do playful things. This calms your nervous system. Give back. Serve others. The placebo effect can be the ultimate healing response. All placebo means is that I'm connected to my healing response. The direct effect of your breath work on your parasympathetic nervous system is obvious. It lowers your heart rate. Breath work can also calm down your inflammatory responses. You are engaging your parasympathetic nervous system, slowing the heartbeat and calming you. Ultimately, we want to decrease our inflammatory markers. last 5 minutes. Move right into your Shavasana. The ultimate healing response, Shavasana, letting everything go. Autonomic nervous system takes over. It even breathes for you. The wisdom of the body prevails, taking over, harmonizing, equalizing. Seven more minutes. Letting go, surrender. so blessed. I am so blessed. I am so grateful for all that I have. I am so blessed. I am so blessed. I am so grateful. I am so begin to breathe together, inhaling through the nose. Open the mouth, big exhales with the audible sigh. Ah, inhale. Ah, one more time, inhale. Ah. Point the toes. Take the arms over the head, interlace the fingers. Stretch the spine as long as you can. All the vertebrae, all the discs, those 24 very important vertebrae, 5 in the lumbar, 12 in the thoracic, 7 in the cervical. Now move to a ball, grabbing the knees, taking the forehead to the knees, compressing the spine. Maybe some spinal rolls, massaging all those meridian points up and down the vertebrae on each side of the vertebrae. From there, you could go to spinal twists. You take the knees to one side, torso face to the opposite side. Make sure you do both sides. A happy baby would be nice, or Baddha Konasana, where you take the soles of the feet in towards the midline. You can do that with the ankles on the mat, or you can have the feet raised. And from there, then you could go into a happy baby, stretching the hamstrings. You're all such consistent practitioners that your hamstrings are getting nice and stretched. Calves are stretched. You can stretch your legs out, lengthening them. You could do modified pigeon. That's what Carol's doing, and Margaret, and Susan, and Susie. Pablo's in a Baddha Konasana. Your body will tell you what it needs. Stretching out the hamstrings, stretching out the shoulders. Slowly making your way back up to our seated position. Coming into prayer position on this Sunday morning of Thanksgiving week, week 37 since our shutdown. This is day 259, if you're keeping track of our yoga challenge, our 1,000 day challenge. So wow, we're 26% there. Let's close with our longtime son. Please sing with me. May the longtime sun shine upon you, all love surround you, and the pure light within you guide your way on, guide your way on, guide your way on. Satnam, Satnam, Satnam. Thank you, Carol. Thank you, Eric. Thank you, Mimi. Thank you, Margaret. Thank you, Susan. Thank you, Medea. Thank you, Pablo. Thank you, Susie. Thank you, Mimi. Thank you, Rodney. We bow to each other and we say Satnam.